So the next section for TA southbounders is Auckland to Mercer. And when you're staying in Auckland, as I said in the previous video, you have so many options of where to stay. So pick and choose your place. Miles may vary just a small amount. So you can junction off and walk into this little town called Onehunga, pardon my pronunciation, to get some breakfast. It's a full service town. Again, you can do what you want here. But Auckland, if you're trying to camp and link your miles up that way, there's really only one option, and it's going to Applaud B&B. It's this gentleman that hosts hikers, and you can camp in his yard. There's so many motels and hotels along this route since it is a sprawl through a big city that you could stay at, but for camping, your options are very, very limited. And when you leave Auckland proper, you will start this kind of coastal walk paralleling the waterway, and it will put you through these parks. And these parks, really nice trail. You kind of do have to walk from post to post. It's not beaten down per se. You can't really see a single track, but it's very well marked, so you can be able to follow that pretty easily. And then it will connect you back into another 2-track / gravel road. And along this gravel road, you go through a very big industrial area. It tries to keep you along the coast for as much scenic value as possible, but it is an industrial area, so just get prepared. And when you finish up this walk, it will put you through another grassland here coming up. And the grassland will ultimately deposit you into a indigenous town. And you can walk through there. They don't really want any cars through there, but TA walkers are allowed to walk through there as of 2022-23. I don't know if it's going to change in future years. I don't know what that looks like, but as of the year we did it, here it is right here. You are allowed to walk through there. So when you finish that walk, you connect into kind of the airport sprawl, the big international airport of Auckland. And this road parallels it with the Stillwater Road for quote-unquote the worst road walk of New Zealand. As you can see, no shoulder. And it's not the no shoulder that makes it the worst, it's the traffic on it. There's a lot of industrial places there, so there's a lot of workers just whipping their cars down that road. So be careful, very little shoulder. You will have to walk off into the grass a few times. So once you finish that up, you start into connecting into mostly sidewalk. And along the sidewalk, it's easy stepping, very, very flat. You get to pass by all these attractions. At any point along this walk, water and food are not far away at hand. It just comes down to if you want to make that pit stop, make that detour. Once you get through the sprawl itself, there's a actually walkway on the other side of the bridge, but the traffic is so consistent at the time we hit it, we couldn't cross, so maybe you'll have better luck. But once you get across that bridge from the airport, it connects you back into sidewalk. Sidewalk goes to 2-track, 2-track goes to this reserve. And along this reserve, you go through some beautiful kind of forested area, big grasslands. It's just like tiny pockets that they're trying to put you through to connect you into the most off-road as possible. But since this area is so built up, it's very difficult to do. So they do try to put you through less road, even though it is a lot of road. So once you get through that reserve, you start a long, long road walk through a lot of these smaller communities. Again, water, food, easily accessible. And then it kind of puts you through another park. That's the theme of this day. That's the theme of the Auckland Sprawl. It's Park Road, Park Road, Park Road. And this park's very beautiful. And ultimately, this park will lead you into the Auckland Botanical Gardens. And the Auckland Botanical Gardens, you can explore them if you want. We didn't really spend a whole lot of time there. It's this big sprawling complex, a lot of pretty areas through there. So if you so desire, you can go check that out. And after the Botanical Gardens, it puts you through more connector neighborhoods. And the connector neighborhoods will eventually lead into this town called Papakura. Pardon my pronunciation. If you want to, you can stay there. They have motels, hotels. A lot of food is easily accessible off trail. But if you're trying to camp, again, Applaud B&B is kind of the only option here. And it's about 4 more miles from the town of Papakura. And to get there, you walk through this little community called Drury, as you see here. And Drury also has amenities. They have a gas station, they have a coffee shop, they have a few eating joints if you get there in time. It is a smaller town, so stuff does shut early. So this is Applaud B&B, and this gentleman, just a wonderful gentleman that hosts hikers. You can camp up on this flat patch. He has 2 very friendly doggos that will come and say hi. But that's kind of the options. You have a lot of options to stay, but for camping, very limited. So when you wake up the next day, if you're staying at Applaud B&B, your day begins as it began a lot on this section, with a lot of road. So Leaving, you start going through more industrial areas, and it puts you on a very busy road very quickly that does not have a shoulder. And along this highway, you just have to be very, very aware. They put you on it right here for a very small amount of time, but it is very busy, just stay aware. And once you junction off that road, it brings you into more peaceful kind of back roads. And these back roads turn into a kind of mini roller coaster. It is road, so it is graded, but there's a lot of up and down along these roads. So be prepared for some elevational changes. And once this road continues, it'll bring you through some smaller pockets, smaller communities. There's a dairy in the town, quote-unquote town of Bombay. Very, very small pockets. Water, food, easily accessible, as I've said. This Auckland sprawl is long, and there's a lot of pockets of communities throughout there. So once you get through here, you'll end up starting a track called Williams Walkway, Mount Williams Walkway. And it's actually a single track, pseudo two-track type of walk up to a mountain. You do have to go over these stiles. It'll bring you directly into the walkway, as you see here. And you follow these orange posts. And I haven't really talked about the orange posts a whole lot in the documentary footage here so far, but the orange posts are kind of your guiding mark. And especially when there's not a beaten down single path, there will be an orange post on the horizon, and you just kind of walk towards that orange post. So they put you through farm fields, kind of follow this fence line along it, and eventually you will get to the top of Mount Williams with kind of a beautiful, beautiful 360-degree view of what you had walked and what you're going to be walking in the future. You can actually, if you had an eagle eye, see the town of Mercer, and you can kind of see faintly a hint of the Auckland skyline. The camera doesn't really pick it up as well as the eye can, but you will be able to see some beautiful stuff up top there. So once you get to the top, you start a steep descent down into the car park itself. Very well graded trail. I think it's a very popular tourist destination or day hike section. As you can see, there's beaten down single track through there. They have steps. You can hold a pace on this. So a lot of this surrounding area that I've talked about in the previous video and this video as well, you can kind of average out your pace pretty well, make a ballpark of a time frame. So it puts you on a busy road again quickly, but thankfully this year of 2022-23, there's a family on this road called Dobson Road that, as you saw it's with the TA marker, that they let you cross their property to get you off that main highway quicker. The official maps of the TA still have you on that main highway, but the year we did it, this family just allowed access, and they were giving people the new updated map. So thank you, Dobson family, if that is your name. I know it's on Dobson Road. So you have one obstacle with their property, and usually it's not this bad. We had been getting a lot of rain. North Island had been flooding quite a lot. Usually you can ford this river, and it's about knee-high at the max. And as you see, it was deeper than knee-high. We had to swim it. Again, usually it's not this way. The swimming was due to flooding through that area. And it's not a sketchy swim since you see how still the river is. So if you do reach that obstacle, use your best judgment. I don't want to say swim it, but if you're feeling comfortable, it's not quick moving water and there's no rapids that you have to worry about. It actually gave us energy. So once you get across that river, you'll be on the river walk itself. This is where your pace may slow down a little bit. The trail itself, a little bit overgrown. The footfalls are a little bit deeper than you would prefer. You can't see your feet sometimes, so your pace will get hit along here. And then it connects into another two-track, and this two-track will lead you into a single track that parallels the highway, this single track here. But again, with our year, with the sheer amount of rain, it quickly ended in water, as you see there. So people this year were popping back up to the highway and walking the highway shoulder. Again, don't know, depending on your year, that track may be walkable. It was not walkable in the season of 2022-23. You can see it's just completely underwater. The flooding was pretty bad on the North Island, to put it lightly, this year. That's the track to the right over there. So as you continue walking, you're getting closer to the town of Mercer. I use town very loosely. There's a motel that has cabins, rooms, and camping, all different price ranges. Really nice area. It doesn't have a lot of Google reviews, but it's a nice room itself. And you have a McDonald's, quick corner store. That's about it. Not a whole lot of amenities, but enough to get you to the next spot. All right.